It's another one.
What up, dudes?
What's up?
I'm Victor.
I'm Evelyn.
And I'm Mark.
Welcome to the show. We are To Live and Talk in LA.
Country went to Japan, and I'm back.
One of my favorite places, but we're glad to have you back.
I need to give you the kudos of thank you for holding it down. We appreciate that here at To Live and Talk in LA, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, however you get podcasts. And today is a very special day. Today is huge because we plugged this about a couple weeks ago. I'm going to go ahead and welcome a guest that we have had on the docket for quite some time. You probably know him as Trip Tucker, the brilliant, slightly impulsive engineer from Star Trek Enterprise who basically kept humanity's first starship from falling apart. These days, he's revisiting that era on the Decon Chamber, breaking down episodes and sharing behind-the-scenes stories from the show. He's got his own Stargate wiki page. He's rocking one of the strongest Silver Fox eras we've ever seen, and tonight he's here with us. Please welcome our guest, Connor Trinneer, everybody.
Round of applause.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Oh, dude.
We're so excited.
Okay. We don't like to embarrass people here in our show, but I'm going to embarrass someone on our show, and I'm not going to name him. His name's Victor. He is a huge Star Trek fan. And when we started this podcast, we started to learn about each other. And we're like, hey, we like this, I like this, I don't like this. Star Trek was one of the things that really resonated with him. And I said, okay, I remember things. And I remember that. And an opportunity came when, through your lovely wife, Jackie, name dropped you. And why not? Why could you? She has to name drop you. And she said, hey, my husband, Connor, was on Star Trek. I'm like, oh, I didn't know the story there. And then we chatted about it. And I said, I took my shot because shoot or shoot. And I said, right. Jackie, I don't know if he's down for it. I don't know if he wants to do community service or we can call it a Make-A-Wish Foundation. But will he do our podcast To Live and Talk in LA? And she said, yeah, she ran it by you. I'm assuming she didn't have to go to your agent, just went to you directly. Is that correct?
No, we got together. Yes. So
okay. Got it. Okay. Goes to you, and she in the same day, she's like, he's down. And so I wanted to paint this picture, which is I sent a group chat and I said, hey Victor, what do you know about Star Trek? And he's like, okay. And I said, what does the name Connor Trinneer mean to you? And he's like, what the fuck? And he says, what the fuck? And I'm like, yo, he's coming on a show. And he was so excited. So I wanted to make sure that we properly, because he is the resident Star Trek fan of the show.
Mm-hmm. Star Trek fan and nerd. I hold down that sector.
Our nerd. I've got a somewhat funny story about this. So I was just on the Star Trek cruise.
Yes, I saw this. How wild.
Yeah, it was my 9th time doing this. And the greatest thing I ever heard, like the Yes Chef stuff, you've got it on T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. We're doing photo ops, and this couple comes up, and as often happens, people who don't have their picture taken often, their glasses, they go like this. So right. I'm always, and you got to tilt your chin down for a good picture. And so we took a photo, husband and wife and me. And then the photographer says, can we do this again? Tilt your chin down. And he goes, I'm sorry. And his wife goes, yeah, nerd. In the most loving way. And I thought to myself, dude, that's a T-shirt.
Yeah, nerd. Yeah, nerd.
Yeah, nerd.
I like that.
Great merch already. I think you should do it, man. I
was
was checking out the merch shop today, actually, for the Decon Pod. You guys have some cool stuff.
I just heard you guys plug it in one of your episodes, and I was like, yes, okay, merch. And I would buy that shirt, wouldn't you?
Yeah. They're fun.
Absolutely. I do want to just acknowledge this intro that Mark gave for me. So cat's out of the bag. I am the Star Trek nerd. I do I feel like I talk the most almost, or the most crap at least, and I feel like when we jumped into this, I've been kind of quiet because I'm just yeah, I'm a little shook right now. Like I was just when I heard you were going to be on the show, I started rewatching Enterprise for like the fourth time or whatever, right? And I finally have caught up to where you guys are and your pod. I just watched Marauders last night.
Oh,
And it's
nice.
so cool listening to you guys talk about the back end of the show and like your experience with it and what's going on, and watching that now for me, it's really fun. So I am excited you're here. I will say, compared to Star Trek fans in general, like relatively, I'm probably nowhere near some of these guys that you see on the Star Trek tour, but I'm going to try my best. I think compared to the average person, I am a Star Trek nerd. So you know what? I'm gonna serve well here. Let's do it.
We love you all.
Yeah.
I
okay,
see in the
nice.
chat, folks are rewatching now and in season 3, and you're getting lots of love. Both Victor and Connor, super stoked to have you. I'll say, I did watch Stargate Enterprise, you guys, as a wee child. I had no cable, and this is what I watched. I didn't
was
have very
on.
many
Yeah.
options. I didn't quite understand it at my age. I was a tot then, maybe like 8 years old or so. But now I feel even more connected to it because I have the nostalgia piece. And I feel like your legacy, all of Star Trek, covers that, right? The nostalgia effect is there.
Truly, yeah. I think that there's something in Star Trek specifically about sort of the era that each show is in, you know.
Sure.
And I think that we carry the early 2000s, and I,
Yeah.
you know, I think the wonderful thing about Star Trek is that the message is essentially like, be the best fallible human you can be
Yeah.
and move forward with that. That's kind of the message that I take from it. And we had our moment in the 2000s with that, and I take a lot of pride from having been there and been a part of it and continue to be a part of it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, walk us through that because I feel like when you're taking something like Star Trek and there's legacies of it. There's the Shatner era and there's the Picard era, and then it goes to Enterprise, and you get that call as an actor. What's running through your mind as you're going through the audition process to getting that, knowing that there's that legacy and like lore?
So I wasn't a fan necessarily. I
Sure.
mean, I grew up with it. You'd come home from school, it was on at 4 o'clock, and it was the original series.
Yeah.
So, I'm in LA and it's pilot season, and I get an audition for Enterprise as well as two other auditions that back in the day before we had, frankly, they used to, like, you'd have to go to your agent's office to pick up your sides.
Oh my gosh. Different times
That
for
is
sure.
different. Yeah.
Agent was out in Van Nuys. I
Oh
lived in
wow.
Hollywood at the time. And so I drove out like at 10 o'clock at night, picked up my sides, and I had like 25 pages on three different um, shows to learn. And I chose the other two above Enterprise, thinking I had enough time. So the audition, the next day it happens. I go in, I do my first two. I prepared them a little bit. 25 pages, a lot of dialogue to really
Mm-hmm.
test.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to Paramount at around 3:30, I think. And I'm just hustling to get these lines right. And I roll in. It's a hot day, by the way.
Of course.
Classic LA.
And I suck. I mean, I know what I'm at. I was not good. And
No.
I read the audition. I did it with this guy named Ron Surma. Bless Ron Surma, because
Bless Ron.
I did it, and he was like, "Oh, okay." Back in the
Uh-oh.
day, he also smoked in the room. He was smoking cigarettes. He's like, "Okay, Connor, all right, go back to your car, do this for an hour, learn it for an hour, and come back." And I was like, oh, "Okay." So I go back to my 1968 Buick Skylark. Windows
Nice.
would only go halfway down. No,
In the heat.
Hey, it gets you there, though. You know,
it
it's
is
all right.
it is like 93 degrees. So I'm sitting there just like sweating like a whore in church, trying to get this right. And I come back in and it's an hour better, which is not very good. So I walk out,
Yeah,
he was
touche.
like, I walk out, I grab my cell phone, like this, big agent, Greg. I can't do 3 auditions in a day. I just can't do this if I get them the night before. So please don't do that to me again. Well, it turns out the next day I get a call and they said they want to see you again. And at this point, now I have enough time. I'm still not
Okay.
really, I don't really know what's going on with the show itself. I just think it's a pilot.
Mm.
And by the way, the description of my character was good old Southern boy, good with
Yeah.
and that was it.
I saw that.
You
I was
did
like,
it all
what
in an
kind of a
accent, right?
description?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was, no pilot episode, just my scenes.
Crazy.
So I come back and I read for the producers, and that goes well. And now I think I'm on to something here. So, now I'm really focused on this audition. I go back into producers. That's number 3. I get past
Nice.
that. I go to number 4, which is studio. So you have to audition for Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I go into Paramount. It's me and like 5 really good looking dudes. And I thought, okay, well, if they want, I don't know, if they want, my flavor of ice cream, they're going to get that. So what I did though was I took my chair and put it right next to the door so I could hear everybody.
Smart.
Smart.
After
Okay.
everybody went through, I was like, nope, nope,
Mental no.
nope. Went in, nailed it.
Nice.
I'm going to network. Yeah, nailed it. Felt good. I was like, this is going great. Went into network, which is then probably it's UPN, which was a network back then.
Yeah.
Paramount, producers of our show. Go in, feel great. There's nobody else in the room auditioning for the same role, so I think it's just me doing it.
Ooh.
You're a lock.
I think that.
Okay.
Go in, I read. I think it goes really well. I mean, here's the thing about a network test. You can't even go into the room unless you've signed your 7-year contract through your agent.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So you're sitting there trying to prepare, trying to, ease up into it. In the meantime, there's a lot of business going on and you're on the phone.
Yeah.
And you have to wait until it's all been agreed upon and you sign that contract and then you go read. So
Those are different times, I feel like.
Yeah, that seems
think
crazy.
That's still the case. And here's why. Because they want to catch you before they want you.
I see.
They need to secure the
They
package
get the
first.
more power that way, I think.
Absolutely.
They're like, he's in already. It's fine.
Makes sense.
I see. Did you know that you were going to be part of like the ensemble cast when you were? I mean, I think by this point, for having 5 different, I want to say interviews, not interviews, auditions. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So after 5 auditions, you knew like you were going to be a big role in this show, right? Or was it still kind of unclear?
No. So anybody who's interested in Star Trek would know that I was auditioning for the engineer.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
in my mind, I had not watched
Right.
Next Generation or Voyager or DS9. So I thought I was going to audition for Scotty from the original series, which meant I was going to work hardly at all, learn how to surf, live the high life. I had no idea. So again, because I only had the 3 scenes, I didn't have an entire script or even they call the Bible of the series. I knew nothing about this.
Wow.
So when I went in, I did the audition, walked out, and my manager called me pretty quickly and said, they're not sure. You didn't show enough awe in one of these. Yeah. And I was like, can I come back? I'll go back. I'll all over the room. And they're like, no, they don't want to see you again. And this goes back to sort of like the weirdness of Hollywood and this profession.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hear anything for, well, SAG allows, the Screen Actors Guild allows 5 business days, and then they have to either let you go or pay you something.
Okay.
Well, 5 days go by, no information. And at this point, I really, really want this now.
Mm-hmm.
Not even knowing what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, I've got no, this is Friday afternoon. And I was like, pardon my French, fuck it. I drove to Mexico
Wow.
and had
Turn.
a lost weekend in Sonata.
I mean, what else do you do when you haven't heard in 5 days for the now role of your dreams, essentially?
Get back, call my agent or my manager rather on Monday morning. And I'm like, you got to tell me something. I know for a fact they're supposed to give me some notice. So he calls the casting office and they said, we can't tell you anything, but Connor's going to sleep well tonight.
Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah, good news.
Sleep it all.
Yeah,
Loses
true.
all sleep.
Yeah. I was like, and the next day I found out, and of course I didn't have a script, and when I finally got the script, we were going to have a reading maybe like a week later. It all happens really quickly.
Mhm.
Once everybody's cast, and I know I was last.
Wow.
So I read the script and I was like, oh no. A lot to do here.
You're in every scene. You're in every away mission. You do everything in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Key
Yeah,
player.
I thought I was going to be like, Scotty every now and then going like, beam me up, Captain.
Yeah.
But
No way. No, you're a core guy, man.
Had no idea. In fact, spent my first half of the first season convinced I was going to get fired.
No way.
Why? They clearly loved you. I mean, they plucked you after they kind of baited you there a little bit. But what made you feel that?
Because of how many auditions I had and how long I had to wait.
Yeah.
That's really why I felt that way. And then I find out years later, the reason for that was that they may still do it, but back in the day, what they would do is like they would find actors and then they would hold them. You'd sign a contract for X amount of dollars. They'd hold you with the idea that what they were going to do is sort of plant you into a show.
Mm-hmm.
And so UPN had a guy that they wanted. And the execs of Enterprise wanted me.
Good.
Battle going on, which I wasn't aware of. I just thought they were like, I didn't have enough awe? Come on.
Internalize all of that, and it wasn't even a you thing.
Yeah, because you see your
natural.
life kind of changing.
Yeah.
If it works out.
So what you're referring to is a holding deal, right?
Yeah.
A holding deal is Victor, Evelyn, do you know about these?
I don't know much about.
Is
the
it
show
like
business,
having
but I'm
somebody
learning a lot
on
right now.
retainer so you can plug them in kind of where you want?
Yeah,
It's the dream.
They own you for a year.
A year?
Wait, Mark, you're saying it's the dream. I feel like we're having different understandings of this.
Okay,
Connor doesn't make it sound like a good thing.
From the outside perspective, because our guest is going up against a holding deal person, which is tough. But if I have the holding deal, I just go home and they pay me until they call me back onto the show. And it's like, you can't work for anyone else. Just go home, sit down. We'll pay you to stay home. That is the dream.
I mean,
For
that's
instance,
cool.
let's say Paramount Studios had 10, 12, 15 pilots they were doing that year.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot.
And to see which one sticks, who knows? Who really knows? But they hold people to posit them into those roles. And yeah, it's the greatest gig in the world. When I got to town, I was like, I want one of those. I never got one, but I was like, that's the greatest thing in the world. You're getting paid a fair, 6 figures to kind of do nothing.
I'm like, to not do a whole lot. That was your dream
actually is
gig.
great, yeah.
They ripped it, man. But hey, you landed it. You got it. That's so cool.
It was great. It was great. In fact, my brother was a huge Star Trek fan, still is probably.
Mm.
Uh, and I remember he was the first person I called that Monday morning. And at the time, he had his daughters were probably 2 and 4, and I was like, Matt, you're never going to believe this. I just in the new Star Trek series, and what I heard was, Ruby, stop, Lily, don't eat your. Hey, I got to call you right back. Hang on.
No.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a little levity showed up, and it was funny. We laugh about it now.
Yeah. Did he dial back in eventually and go, wait, what did you say?
Freaked out.
Yeah, he did eventually. Yeah, later that night. Like, sorry about that, man. They were fighting over breakfast.
Classic.
What can you do?
Dad mode. Nothing can interrupt dad mode.
Exactly.
That is so. I did see, like, we were creeping on you a little bit, right? We did a little bit of our homework here.
Yes, we should.
The wiki page said that you were not interested in sci-fi. I'm stealing Victor's note here a little bit. What brought you to the role? Like, what made you at the end really want this role if, like, sci-fi wasn't your goal?
Interesting question. So yeah, sci-fi wasn't in my wheelhouse. It wasn't something that I liked. My brother and I are like almost Irish twins. He took the math and the science and the Star Trek, and I took sports and I don't know, girls.
Chicks. Yeah, I was gonna say,
You're the cool
just say
one.
chicks,
Okay.
and we understand.
Yeah.
I was gonna say art, but I'll take the girls
Yeah,
too.
fast cars,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that Buick, yeah.
And then so when being an actor in LA, a young actor in LA, we don't really have this anymore, which was a classic pilot season where you'd have from like maybe the first week in January until maybe the first week in March, where you'd have all these auditions for all these different pilots. You'd have all these seemingly great shows. I did a few pilots that seemed great, but they didn't take them. So you never really know. It feels just almost like, God, it's hard to describe this. What you wind up doing is like you believe that every opportunity is the one,
Right. You
and
have to almost.
you do. And
Yeah.
and again, like I said, in terms of the amount of pages that you'd have to figure out between like 9, 10 p.m. at night and then starting at 9 a.m. that next morning, well, you've got to learn those, so you're just busting your ass. And when, again, the Enterprise one came up, to me, not being a sci-fi fan, it was just another audition.
Yeah.
Another show.
Yeah.
And then, but once I got past really sucking,
And the hot car and having to rehearse those dreadful lines.
once I got 2 reads into it, the competitive nature of anybody shows up, and I was like, oh God, I want this. I don't even know what
Yeah.
this is. I want this really badly. And so, you begin to, I don't know, get rid of every distraction. I'm focused on this. It's all I'm thinking about. You go for a hike and all you're doing is running your lines. And so for it to be that show was interesting. It wasn't a thing. And I think partly why it worked for me because of my character and the way that he was, because our show we were the first ones out.
Hmm.
Not knowing a lot about it helped, I think.
A little less pressure, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, maybe. Sorry, I catch a cold from the cruise. Forgive me.
Oh no, not the cruise
It's hard to
cold.
avoid.
Yeah, it's kissing babies and shaking hands.
Well, and we do have more. We have a segment of like Star Trek questions for you. We'll run you through in a bit. But I want to fast forward to your current project now, the Decon Chamber podcast.
Yes.
So it's your rewatch podcast, but tell us a bit about that.
Well, let's see. We had another iteration that lasted for a couple of years, didn't work out for a number of reasons. But the impetus for this was we were in, Dom and I, my co-host, were in Vegas, at the annual Brouhaha Vegas, and we were talking to a couple of guys from Voyager, Robbie Dunk McNeil and Garrett Wong. And Garrett was talking about how they were doing this podcast. And I just thought, well, nobody does one for our show. Let's do
Yeah.
let's do one. And initially it wasn't about like any sort of watch party idea. We were going to get, as many actors from the series, writers, designers, producers, directors, which we've done,
Hmm.
to talk about their experience on the show, not just our show, but like other, by the time we were done, I think Star Trek had been on consecutively for like 17, 18 years.
Holy moly.
Um, and then after a while, you run out of guests.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And we decided, what we're going to do is be, an addendum to our series where we were going to talk about every episode. And I'm awfully proud of it, to be honest with you. I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
gone back and watched these episodes for decades.
Wow.
Never.
Wow. Is it strange
Really?
rewatching your own
Yeah.
work?
It is, it is. It's funny. I remember, so when I got the gig, Michael Westmore, a legendary makeup artist who
Mhm.
did our show, I asked him really early on. I was like, because I wasn't allowed to see dailies.
Okay.
Shooting on film back then, by the way. This is how old this is.
It's just yesterday.
Yeah. So I asked him, I said, can I see the dailies? And he was like, why? And I said, I don't know. I wanted to see what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, don't do that again. Don't stand that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the luxury of seeing my own work very early on. But I used it like as a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see so much of that in the first season. And it's interesting too, because, for instance, you'll see 3 takes on a reel and you'll think, all right, so I like number 2. Well, they picked number 1 because
Oh.
all the aspects of the whole thing worked. But my performance, I thought, so I had to stop doing that. I had to leave it alone. But I did use it as some sort of like educational tool.
And looking back at it now, does it still feel educational? Are you like more kind towards your past self and how you were performing? Or are you like, yeah, I slayed that?
I can tell you this. I do know the moment that I relaxed.
Oh, you can see that.
When
now.
is that?
I can see it. That was in an episode called Unexpected, and that was when I was
When you're
Yeah.
pregnant.
Wow, well
Yeah.
named.
It's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Should we? Can I jump into our Reddit question? Is that a crazy time to insert
It's-
this?
Oh, go ahead.
That's a perfect segue.
I think this is the perfect time. So we did share that we were going to have you on Reddit incognito style, and we had a question submission directly related to what you are saying right now. And bear with me for a second because it is a little bit of a lengthy one. This is from Alconium out on Reddit. First, I want to say that when Enterprise was airing, I was always excited to watch it on UPN, and Commander Tucker was one of my favorite characters from day one, catching Broken Bow the night the show first hit air, and I've enjoyed seeing Connor in other projects like Stargate and 911. Compliments aside, thank you, Alconium. My question to Connor Trinneer: how did it feel to be the first male commander of an Enterprise to get pregnant, beating out Riker? More seriously, looking back on that episode, Unexpected, and Cognator with the third gender alien, how did Connor feel then or feel now being part of storylines that ask big questions about identity and freedom beyond what society says it should be at the time and how they might connect with audiences today. It's a little bit of a winded one there, but thank you, Alconium, for throwing that in for us. He also said, alternatively, are there episodes that ask similarly important questions about people, society he's especially proud of, besides those two he mentioned? But since we're on the unexpected theme, Connor, what's your take?
I remember when it happened, I got the script and fortunately, I still thought I was getting fired, by the way.
Classic.
I got the script and one, it's a relatively sort of humorous episode that, we would do maybe one or two of those a season. But I realized a responsibility that I had taken on about, in my own mind, like, how do I do this right? And whatever right meant, there were parts of the episode that I added things to, like, I don't know, ravenous appetite that wasn't in the script. Being worried about whether or not a little alien could, if there was a scene where there's a bar that goes down on the elevator that goes up into engineering. This is real nerd talk, so those of you who don't know what I'm talking about is fine.
Dial in, guys.
You'll
dial
figure
in.
it out. It's okay.
Dial in. Go watch the episode.
And so, I sort of go off on one of the other engineers in the room about, like, you've got to fix this thing, because what if a little one was around here?
Right.
Their hand could get smashed or something. So it was also very well written. And it was one of the first times that I thought, okay, yeah, I can do this. Oddly, I was playing a pregnant person.
Yeah.
That's the first.
It's funny. I was watching, I saw that, and when I didn't see pregnancy was the thing. My mind, when you saw the nipple on your arm, I'm like, this guy got an STD, and the first thing I want to do is give this guy a high five for mixing up with the alien race. I was like, that's cool. Then I referred to pregnancy, and I'm like, oh man, like, I don't know how I feel about that. I felt conflicted. So I was like, that was a really good scene. And you know what I liked about this too, and you mentioned it, which is Star Trek doesn't do, like, once in a while we'll have like comedic episodes, but it wasn't overtly funny. And sometimes when you lean too far in on a comedy, and it's like, all right, guys, like, sometimes comedy is taking a step back and letting it breathe, and those clips with you was perfect.
It was so
I thought
good.
the tones you picked were so perfect for that scene. It made me feel, and I laughed, and I was nervous because, like, I don't want to get pregnant. That'd be terrible.
What would you do with the little aliens?
Right. To me, the best of comedy is real life in a little shift. Nobody's trying to be funny. That's the funniest stuff for me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was really proud of that episode, and have been since then, having seen it, because, I mean, look, you do 98 episodes of a television series, and yeah, there are times when some things don't ring true, and there are times when other things do ring true, and this was one that rang true to me, and yeah, I was proud of it. And to answer that other question about sort of Star Trek's ethos about things, yeah, there were a lot of episodes. There was an episode where I got cloned, and because I died.
Spoiler alert. We did hear about that on Reddit as well.
Yeah. But that's actually later. This Trip dies in this episode. They clone him to harvest something that's going to keep him alive. I thought that was also really interesting. There's an episode where it's called The Cogenitor. One of my favorites that I did, where this alien race has this, I don't know, servant, slave, responsible for carrying their child. And
surrogate alien.
exactly. And that's one of those episodes where I'd even said this to our producers. I was like, Trip keeps getting away with all this stuff and he never gets his foot stuck in his mouth. And this episode they wrote, I think, as a result of that. So, he has an
Ah,
He
nice.
got in trouble.
surrogate to help her in his mind to sort of get some independence. And she kills herself.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Star Trek does give you guys a bunch of storylines like that. Like I always remember like coming back to the morality or the humanity of things like in every episode, like just lessons of life, which is cool to see even then.
Yeah. I think that Star Trek at its best is storytelling with flawed humans doing their best and meaning their best.
That's a
And
big
Star
deal.
Trek, they've always pushed it with these kinds of topics, though, right? Like that question he's asking is like, what's it like to play this kind of role, right? As a commander who gets pregnant, and this time, because this was many years ago. But even when you look back at the other series, they were doing all kinds of different stuff, and I feel like that's something I love about Star Trek is, I feel like people just think it's like, oh, nerdy, whatever, but it's like there's some really deep stuff in there. Every episode is not everyone, but many of them are discussing some like kind of gray area, where you have to make a choice or do something that affects all these people, and there's always more thought into it than I think people expect, and it's great.
I agree. I think that the wonder of science fiction in general is that you've got this environment where you can storytell without any rules.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do anything you want because you're in space. You're doing science
Yeah.
fiction, as opposed to like, no offense to procedurals,
Mm-hmm.
shows or detective series, but there's a certain storytelling luxury that you have when you're doing science fiction. It's been that way since it was, and Arthur C. Clarke was doing that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everybody was doing that.
Yeah, and
Asimov.
and
Go
you get
anywhere. There's no
to,
limits. Yeah.
and you get to do cool things like have a relationship with a Vulcan.
Yeah, exactly.
Wild behavior.
I think that's like doing the deep dive. And you can walk us through this too, but like a consensus on the internets is that Trip and T is it T-Pole? Is that how you say the name?
Paul.
It's a Paul. All the Star Trek people are just like kill him. I
Oh
hate
my
him.
god,
Dude,
right now.
come
Burn
on,
him at the
man.
stake.
yeah.
Jesus.
Give him a red shirt. See, I know that joke. That's yeah. There you
Nice,
go.
nice job.
Kill guy.
Yeah. But one of the more established like love relationships in all of the Star Trek franchises. Like how like walk us through that. Like, do you think that you have the strongest relationship in the Star Trek Enterprise?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say. What I will say about the relationship between Trip and T'Pol was initially it seemed that it was going to be the captain, Archer, and T'Pol, and they decided for whatever reason not to do that. Of course, we're never actually given any information. We're just given a script.
Yeah,
Mm.
one day you
Here's
find
what you're
out.
doing this week.
I'll
You're in
be-
love
You and
now.
Paul are gonna get together that day.
I'll have a kid. But I remember. Here's the thing. I advocated for myself, and this is important, I think, for everybody. I advocated for myself. There were certain times in our show where things would come up that I was like, that doesn't ring true to me. So I would call them up and I'd say, well, this, that, or the other thing. And so a couple seasons into our show, it sort of seems like Trip is, just sort of like sniffing to Paul's butt and following her around everywhere. And he gets invited to her wedding. Oh,
It's tough.
tough.
Yikes.
I remember that.
Hurtful.
I was hurt
But I
for
said to
you.
them, I said to the producers, I was like, this is what you want this character to be. All right, this is what's happening. And I said, I think that they should be at least on a level with each other. There's a couple issues with that. One, Vulcans do their mating ritual called Ponfar once every 7 years.
Oh, that's just like me.
It's a long drive.
I'm just like a Vulcan.
Good one.
Yeah,
They found your
good.
people.
Yes. And I was like, that's my character's a good old Southern boy and human,
That's
and
right.
it's gonna be tough.
Gotta get it. Yeah.
And so why am I chasing her in a way? Why am I clearly attracted to this Vulcan? And so they did an episode where I left the ship because I,
What?
I couldn't do it anymore.
Yep.
Hmm.
And when I came back onto the ship, she walked up to me and she kissed me to Paul's trip. And it was very important to me to go and to say, like, or not to say, to like, whatever,
Yeah, just shrug it off.
you know. And then I think the relationship itself is one thing that I wish we'd had a few more seasons to figure out, because by the end of our series, we were onto something I thought that was really interesting.
And you
Which-
didn't get the chance to fully build
Agreed.
it out.
Yeah, I thought that there was a lot of road to hoe on that relationship. They have a kid, it doesn't survive. They know that in the future Vulcans and humans could do that. Sort of an odd story about that. Like when Trip has to go tell to Paul that the baby didn't survive, my son Jasper was maybe 2 weeks in utero.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
And so when I went in to that scene, it was absolute real. It was totally, this was me expressing my feelings
Yeah.
through dialogue. And when they said cut, I had to go off to the corner of the soundstage and try to get myself together. And Jolene Blaylock, who played to Paul, she walked up to me and she gave me a hug and she's like, "You are right. What's going on?" And she's the first person I told that we were pregnant with our son.
Wow.
Wow.
On set. How cool.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy. I wish that we'd had more stories to tell with that relationship. That's my one regret for our show.
I think a lot of people feel that way because you guys,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're my favorite like chief engineer in Star Trek. Just to right? I love your character. Yes, and to Paul as well. Like to Paul, out of all the Vulcans you see in Trek, to Paul was really fun. Like she has funny moments, and you guys are both such great characters. And I think everybody was pulling for you guys, and it did feel like it kind of got cut short, or like we just wanted to see more. I know that I did. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
well, I guess this is where it's going, and it was a good story, but yeah, I think everybody wanted some more of that.
I think that relationship was really in terms of the dramatic element of our show, that was really moving it was like the thing in our show at that time in season 4 that that was building to something that then just got cut short.
See, this is what I love about the Decon Chamber podcast. Listening to you guys talk about those like interpersonal dynamics with the people that you spent years with on set and like celebrity guests and building out these characters. Like on those sets that run for so long, you do really become a family of some sorts. And that's so cool. And thank you for sharing that story. I do want to redirect a little bit back to the Decon Chamber because I have a hugely important question that came across my brain while I was diving into this for the first time, because Decon Chamber was new for me prior to us connecting here. But my question for you guys is Decon a double entendre for Dominic and Connor? Or is that just fun? It so happened to be that way.
So yes. So
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. We love that.
There's a particular scene in the pilot in the decontamination chamber
Yeah.
that Trip and T'Pol have that if you're a fan of our show, You know this very well.
Mhm,
And I think Dom's wife came up with this.
Yes, she did. I
She's
heard this
good.
in
Shout
one of
out.
your best of. She was like, you should make it something themed
And it's perfect.
after. And
It
then he
is.
did, he said the decon chamber.
Yeah. Yeah. We were sitting next to each other at the convention in Las Vegas, and I think he wrote like on a post-it note, and he like kicked me under the table because we were next to each other signing autographs, and he was like, "This is what we call it," and I was like, "Hell yeah, we do.
That's
Yes.
it.
That's perfect."
Dude,
It's an incredible name.
Evelyn
It's
is so proud. It's like when I figured out face off what it really means in the title. I was like, oh, face off.
Yeah.
That was a big win for me, okay? Because I did hear the story about how you guys came up with the name, but I was like, they didn't specifically say that it was for Dominic, who, and shout out Dominic Keating, who's a legend. I know, Victor, you had your question in there that I want to give you a moment to shine with
Sure.
as well. Take it away.
Well, so when I first found out you were going to come on our show and I saw your podcast, I was so excited to see that it was Dominic there with you, right? AKA Lieutenant Malcolm Reed. Just so you guys don't know, he's another one of the main characters on Enterprise. And he's so great in Enterprise too. I feel like he plays this perfect, like, military man. He's always ready to go, right? Every episode, Malcolm has a solution,
Yeah.
right? He's got something like a phaser or something. He's figuring it out. He's so great. So you guys say that you're besties. Is that real? Because I feel like you guys had a bromance. I feel like I could see that you guys were having a bond on Enterprise. Did it start there? Are you guys tight like that?
We are. Yeah, we're best friends. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So cool.
He's yeah, for our show. So Malcolm and Trip are kind of like oil and water. They're very different people,
Mhm.
and the writers in the writing room, kind of tried out an episode called Shuttle Pod One, which I think is one of our best, and it was an episode where Trip and Malcolm are stranded in a shuttle pod. They think the ship's been destroyed, and they're trying, well, desperately to one, get back somewhere and to find out what happened. And it was just the two of us. And we rehearsed it. We had the luxury of this particular episode. We got this script like a week before,
Yikes.
which is a long time.
That's good.
She said,
Oh,
"Yikes."
I'm like, a
No,
week?
is good.
You guys, I'm not the
So
actor.
detached from this world. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh God, no! You'd get new lines the day you were working.
Oh,
Wow. You guys must work fast.
Yeah. So we got the episode a week before. We rehearsed it together. We had known each other somewhat, liked each other, but then, I think the relationship being solidified in the episode also solidified our friendship as people. And the my favorite scene in all of our show is in the finale when Malcolm and Trip are in engineering saying goodbye,
Mm.
because it was also two guys who were
Yeah.
friends doing that at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
it translates. It's not acting to a certain degree, right? You're losing your friend there every single day in front of you.
Yeah, and so and we've been friends for 25 years.
That's
Epic.
gotta be a fun episode to watch. You guys, rewatching that one, because I was just watching it last week, and it's so funny how Malcolm is, in the corner doing his memoirs or whatever, and he's doing the same letter to everybody, oh, how I've missed you or whatever, and you're like, what the hell, man? Shut up, and you guys are so different. But by the end of the show, I feel like you guys, everybody on the team bonded together. Anyway, that was a great episode for sure.
And I think that Dominic and I are very different, and but it's it's one of those, it's the alchemy of friendship, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You guys play well off each other, I think, too.
I think we're all surprised here because we all fucking hate each other, Victor.
Yeah, we don't know what that's like. That's why we're in awe of you guys. We actually hate each other's guts.
That's why we're on Zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
we
we
take
don't
any
meet in
chance.
person. It's
We can't be
fistfights only.
together.
Contractually, when we talk about us, it's Victor, Evelyn, and Mark. The lower is how we go about it. In the chat, I did see a good one. Do you have a favorite Star Trek meme?
Well,
Maybe just like a line, like a one-liner or
Like,
something.
well, to
there's
me
so many.
now, off of the cruise, it's yeah, nerd. But
Yeah, nerd.
Yeah, true.
but you know, in the pilot, I said um, a quote that I thought was going to be sort of used over and over again, which was "Keep your shirt on, Lieutenant," in talking to
Yeah.
Reed. And for me, that's, you know, if there's any sort of, I said it probably 2 or 3 times in the whole series, not much at all.
Hmm.
So that would be probably for our show, the only meme I can think of.
If you saw that on a t-shirt, you're celebrating.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
That's great.
I want to point out that Connor actually made his dream come true, you guys. He believed that this role would be the role that took him off into space, shall we say, and really blasted him off. And it happened. So, like, round of applause for you for believing in you and making those dreams come true. When you look back at your full career, getting started, moving out, doing all of the Star Trek things and beyond, do you have a specific moment that stood out to you that made you realize that you made it? And more specifically, was it playing either Dan Torrey in Criminal Minds, because just getting a Criminal Minds feature is legendary, or Nick McMullers in Pretty Little Liars, because I know that is one of the highlights of your career.
She's a huge.
What?
He loves that.
That's me. I recognized you from Pretty Little Liars. Like, I'm dialed in. I'm just kidding. I did know you from Star Trek, but what is one of those moments that really stood out to you that made you realize, like, I made it. This is it.
I don't know. I don't think there's any making it. I mean, you know, I'm an actor, I'm a storyteller. It's what I do. And sometimes remarkable big deal things happen, and sometimes you're doing an independent project or a play that you get paid $7 a performance for, but it's remarkable.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you'd kind of say like making it means that you made a lot of money at something, but I don't really look at it that way. I mean, you know, I I'll never retire.
We
I'm
like you here. Yes.
I'm an actor, and so yeah, making it. No, I kind of found myself thinking a lot in my career. I'm just glad I didn't get fired. I'm not joking.
that should be the name of this episode. Connor Trinneer is glad he didn't get fired.
I didn't get fired. That's my epitaph.
I say that every day. I can't believe I didn't get laid off. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. Going back to Enterprise, is there a prop that you were able to keep, and if you did, what was it?
This is on the down low, unofficial, because when the show
I
ended,
love that.
Allegedly, you know, yeah. Sure.
Allegedly.
I got 2 stories for this. When the show ended, there was security everywhere, and you know, because Star Trek as a money-making project for Paramount, they didn't want anybody taking anything. So I talked to our costume designer, and I was like, "There's a couple of things I'd like." One was a leather jacket from an episode. The other one was my away jacket. And he was like, "Okay, well, wear a long coat and come in." So I wore,
Hell yeah.
Yes.
it was like, again, like 95 degrees. I got this wool like Pendleton jacket in, like, you know, I've got like a t-shirt on, and I put both those jackets on, wrapped it up, and walked out. So I got those. The funny thing though is that, you know, so just after our show ended, they auctioned off like everything.
Mhm.
That's
Everything.
why they keep it.
Yes.
And but you know, God bless our fans. I've got 2 of my uniforms. I've got
Wow.
a uniform from the episode where I was cloned. I've got boots. I've got a whole host of things that I didn't think to grab. And I'm so thankful for that. But I will say the funny thing about, I don't know, our props and whatnot that you could have taken. So we had things called phase pistols. They weren't even phasers because we were the first ones out. And we had two prototypes. And Scott and I had a scene, maybe the first couple of, again, this is why I thought I was getting fired all the time. So we have this fight with the Suliban, which were for a period of time our enemy. And we go in there, action, crash, bang, boom. I fall and I break one of the phase pistols. There's only one left, and Scott has it. There are no more. They can't get any more. You could eventually buy them
They're
at
in space. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, Scott, can I use your phase pistol?
Oh no.
It's like, okay, don't break it. And I said, look, I fell wrong. I'll be fine. I know.
Oh no.
Action, bang, 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 crash, fall, and I break it again. I break it the other.
No.
There are no more phase pistols.
Wow.
They eventually made them, and we used the ones that Walmart sold.
Really?
Wow.
Walmart.
Got
That is so
Walmart,
funny.
Target, yeah.
I wanted to ask you.
Off the little-
I know we're getting towards the end here. I have a few more Star Trek questions I want to ask. We'll try to make them faster. But I wanted to ask you about the prop specifically, like, because sometimes I feel like they'll pull out some thing and it's just like an egg beater with like a thing on the end. Like, were they making funny props out of stuff that you would see, or is it usually just toys and stuff from Target? Because I feel like they get creative with those little devices and probes and things.
I think that
Did you ever feel silly, like holding something like
items
this?
of the show were very specific about what they were doing because we were also, granted, we were the first ship out,
Yeah.
but there were 3 other series before us. So we had to kind of, they were very specific about, what the panels looked like and
That's
and
true.
all
It's
that.
like a cannon to connect to, right? There's like something you're pointing somewhere. Yeah.
Right. But there are Easter eggs all over the series.
Yeah. That's
If you're
cool.
paying attention. Yeah.
Another quick one. Do you ever get used to the techno babble? Because you were talking about having to get these scripts right the same day, and they're talking about deuterium and nacelles, right, and doing all this stuff. It's like, did you guys ever get used to it and it made sense, or was everybody like reading another language, by the later seasons?
I can't speak for anybody else, but if you look at the bloopers,
Because you had it pretty rough. You're
I
the
was
engineer.
terrible at it. I was
You're the guy.
terrible.
Oh.
I was terrible, and in fact, when I knew it was coming, it was one of the things I was like, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it.
How funny.
And actually, I had Michael and Denise Akuda. They wrote the Bible on Star Trek technology, and one day, because being the commander of engineering, I sure had to know how this goddamn thing worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I asked them to come down and walk me through it.
Wow. It's like reading the manual to a spaceship.
good luck.
You just lock that in.
Like, so this goes here, that nacelle's there, yada yada yada. And I needed that because,
Yeah.
like, as an actor, you don't learn lines so much as you learn thoughts. At least I do. So you're conversing, you're having a conversation, you have thoughts that they're being put out there. And if you're not connected to the information that you're sending out, it's just blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to have that, and if I didn't have that, or if I couldn't own it, it just didn't make any sense, and I'd get it wrong. But honest to God, there season 1 through 4, if you look at the bloopers, 70% me.
I'm going back and I'm catching those bloopers,
Yeah, I
Connor.
wanna
I'm
find that.
looking.
That's fun.
They're on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes. Let's all go watch the bloopers together after this show ends.
Yeah, that'll be a nice way to reflect on this, because I now I'm dying to see that. Yeah, I always think all the time, damn, they nailed it. That was a tricky one. Like when I'm just watching something, a random episode, sometimes you guys really get into it. It's really long, so that's cool. That's
You
fun
know
to
that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where DiCaprio's doing that Western and he had 8 whiskey sours the night before in his pool and he can't get his lines right and goes and
Yeah.
destroys his trailer.
Was this you with
Is
those
that
terms?
is that
That
have you been
happened a
there?
couple of times to me. You walk back in, it's embarrassing. In hindsight, it's funny, but in the
Mhm.
moment, you're wasting people's time and yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We get to
sure.
enjoy the blooper. Meanwhile, you had to live the blip. Totally understood. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you know what? The actor's life for me.
Yes. And thank you again for coming on, Connor. I want to play a little bit of a game here at the close. Before I start this, do we have any last questions from the team here before I just jump into our game segment?
I have one question. Is that okay? I'm sorry. I
Yes,
waited
hit
too
it.
long.
That's why I asked,
Okay.
because how can I
Connor,
steal this moment from you,
I
Victor?
have you here.
Shut
I
up,
just want
nerd.
to know, as somebody, okay, look, as somebody who's been on Trek, right? Like, and for me as a Trek fan, I was telling people about the show, right? Like, hey, come check it out. We're gonna have, Connor Trinneer. He's on. You might know him from Star Trek. Come check it. And I had a few people tell me, I'm just more of a Star Wars guy, and I feel like, as a sci-fi dude, I'm in for everything, right? Like, do you hear that a lot? And what's your response to that? Because I feel like it's like a false dichotomy. We don't need to pick sides here. They're so different.
I agree with you 100%. I think that that's just performative. I
Yeah,
think
it's like you don't have to show. You can just say that, right? Don't make
Yeah.
it about Star Wars.
yeah. No, I think that ultimately, if you're a sci-fi fan and you see good sci-fi,
Hmm.
it's just good.
Right.
Yeah. You
You know,
support them all.
I mean, by the way, I'm sorry. There's about 3 of those Star Wars movies that suck.
Yeah. Might be more than 3 nowadays, but hey.
Look, the first 2, thumbs up. After
Yeah.
that, not so sure. But
Right. It's Rocky.
still loving it.
But they're at freaking Disneyland, right? Like they have a whole section. Where's Star Trek land?
Where
If you
is
ask
the
me,
representation?
Trek is better. Trek is
Oh,
better.
yeah.
If I had to pick one, I'm going Trek all
Paramount's
day.
got to
dude.
get a theme park.
Seriously, I would live there.
Paramount, have your people talk to our people. Our podcast is willing to host your opening night when we launch this actual
Yeah,
site.
let's do it.
We're going to close out here with a little bit of a fun game, Trek meets LA. We have a couple of items for you. Connor, we just want you to let us know, is this a hit or a miss when we give you this line or the situation? Hit meaning, yeah, love it. Miss meaning we're passing, not a fan, not a vibe. And you're welcome to expound on any of these. Number 1, fans greeting you at a birthday party. Is this a hit or a miss?
Hit.
Hit.
Not dinner, but at a birthday party, sure, hit.
You
Not
like
at
fans coming up
dinner,
to you,
but
that's cool.
yes, at a party.
Okay.
Let Connor have his meal.
Yeah.
Respect.
fair.
You can't get in between a man and his food. Next one, asking someone what they do within 45 seconds of meeting them. That's so LA. Is that a hit or a miss?
I think that's a miss because I think the way to go is, what do you like about what you do?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's nice. That's a good
A little
approach.
twist on it.
That's such a thoughtful response because I
Yeah,
would just be like,
seriously.
dude, I hate my job. I hate it here. I'm so negative. That's a good twist, man. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere new. Advice from Connor, the other column of today.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I guess this is a tangent close to what we were talking about before. People asking you Star Trek or Star Wars. Is that a hit or a miss?
I think that's a miss. I think that's somebody trying to get something over you. Honestly, if that's
Yeah.
your, why are we having this conversation? If you're
Yes.
down with Star Wars and everything else sucks, I don't know. Great, good on you. I mean, the reality is that the people at Paramount. So Star Wars comes out, first one, giant hit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Somebody in an office at Paramount was like, "Don't we have something like this?"
This seems familiar.
Wait, I've seen this before.
Ace, ask Lucille Ball. I think we have something.
Yeah. So you heard it here. Don't ask Connor about
Yeah.
Star Wars or Star Trek. We never
Thanks a
have to
lot.
ask him again as a fan base.
He's a
Okay.
chill
Oh, look, man. Here's the thing: good stories that wins the day.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That's always going to win the day. The next one for us, LA theme. Going to Erewhon unironically. Is that a hit or a miss? Do you know what Erewhon is?
Do you shop at
it's
Erewhon?
nowhere.
You can skip.
Yeah, it's nowhere. Yes. In case we didn't hear that, that is a miss. That's what that's sounding like to me.
Air One, who cares?
Yes. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't need to pay $18 for a smoothie. I don't care how good it is. Yeah, miss. Air One. Fuck off.
Thank you for keeping it real.
Yes.
Yes. Fuck off, Erewhon.
That's it.
Comic-Con after parties. Hit or miss?
Oh. Well, hit. I mean, it's Comic-Con.
Yeah. That's the place to be. Is that like the Super Bowl of actors?
It's the Super Bowl of sci-fi, fantasy, Marvel comic. Look,
That's
I
so
mean,
cool.
if you're going to Vegas, you're going to Vegas, and if you're invited to an after party, you're going.
That's right.
Yes.
No.
That fucking guy right there. I love that answer. I love that answer.
The party starts with Connor.
How are the
post-Comic-Con.
parties on the Star Trek cruise? If you don't mind me asking, because everybody there loves you, right? So it's like, what does that look like? Do you hang out with the people the whole time, or is it like you have your own little chill side thing?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah. So the great thing about the cruise is that, as opposed to a convention where you've got people coming in and they've got a list of things they want to get accomplished. They got to get certain autographs. They want to be in a photo op, and there's a little mania about a convention. After a day and a half or a day on the cruise, everybody just relaxes.
How long
Really?
does the cruise run total? Like how many days?
It's 5 nights, 6 days.
Oh,
I gotta go on that, dude. That seems so
Dude.
cool.
that is
It is cool. It is cool. I have to say, if you are a fan of Star Trek, it is the way to do this.
Ooh,
Ah.
Vic. I'm hearing
I
something's
don't
in
know. I
order
didn't
for
know
you.
what to expect. Like I felt like, man, is it gonna be like a Comic-Con? Like everybody's crazy the whole time? It sounds like it's super chill, which I like. So
It
that's
is
different.
chill, but it's also super. The thing is that look, there's a distance between, I don't know, the actors and the fans at a general convention, because we're sitting there signing autographs. We've also got obligations. Once you get on a cruise, everybody's just chilling out. And by the way,
Yeah.
it's all Star Trek fans. It's 3,500 Star Trek fans. They sell the boat out, and and yes, we do have locations where like we have our own sort of like, I don't know, area where we can have drinks and chill, or we can, we have our own place to eat dinner, but we don't always do that. We are around all the time, and there's so many events going on throughout the day that we all go see. Like we go see our friends perform.
That's so
That's
fun.
It's like there's stage readings, there's all these different things you would never see otherwise unless you're on this cruise.
Doing a little bit of, we all did a research and digging here. There's a picture of you from your cruise doing Star Trek karaoke. Do you remember what song you were doing in that picture? There's a picture of you doing Star Trek karaoke.
Well, this year I did wind up doing Anthony Montgomery, who was also on the show, wanted to do Devil Went Down to Georgia. So that this
Ooh.
I host karaoke. It's the last event of the cruise. Like 10 to midnight or 10 to 1 on the last night of the cruise, I host karaoke. So I do it every year. There's crap me singing all over the place.
That's awesome.
I love that. Absolutely. We're going to wrap up our game here and then close out with you, Connor. It's been so much fun to have you. We're going to do one last hit or miss for us on To Live and Talk in LA. If a fan shows you a tattoo of you, is that a hit or a miss?
It's happened 3 times.
And that's a hit.
Hell yeah.
That's insane. That's so
Yes. 3 different? Is it like, that's
were they?
legendary.
2 women and a man. Yeah. The first one,
Wow.
lady in Australia, and yeah, I'm tattooed on people. Are you kidding me? Look,
For the lady in Australia, was it down under?
but
You're killing
bless her heart, no, it was.
Okay,
All right,
I
that's
had to
good.
ask.
No, I mean, like, look, I'll be honest with you. So I have action. I have this action figure, a couple of them of me. The thing I'm most proud of in terms of all that is I am a Hallmark ornament. I am a Christmas
That means we have to go buy it for Victor this year so that he can put it on his tree
Dude.
because legendary.
up every year. I tell you, I'm serious about this. It's like that's
I'm
when
looking at it.
I made it after that.
That's sick.
That is so cool. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have our folks support you by doing a couple of things here. Go to the Star Trek cruise, you guys. Go buy that ornament. Obviously, it's beautiful. You need it on your tree. And we're gonna close it out, I think, with you giving us a moment here. Let's spotlight the Decon Chamber podcast. Share with everybody watching when they can visit you and how.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Decon Chamber. We air on Sundays at 11 a.m. PST on YouTube and all of your other platforms. And not only, but we're cataloged and libraried, so you can watch every single episode of the Decon Chamber on YouTube. And yeah, we are probably, I think we're in season 2, episode around 9. The goal of what we're doing now is that we want to do the entirety of our show and have people on. We're going to have, well, we just had Paul Giamatti, who was in
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
Yeah.
that was a fun episode.
Big
Yeah.
guest. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Chris Black, an executive from our show.
Mhm.
Soon we're going to have Vince Diedrich, who was our stunt coordinator, Andre Manis. So we have guests as well as just Dominic and I speaking about our episodes.
You guys gotta go give it a listen. It's super cool. I
It's a fun
enjoyed it,
show.
and all of your guests are fantastic. And thank you for being our fantastic guest today. A round of applause for Connor, you guys.
Having me. Thank you. That was great.
Yeah. So we're gonna get on out of here. We'll play the outro music. And we'll do we still have pillow talk, guys, so feel free to hang out with us after we wrap the podcast. And yeah, that's a good place to end. Who wants to take us out?
I'm going to do it.
Victor.
Guys,
Yes.
we are to live and talk in LA. Thank you so much for joining us tonight with the Connor Trinneer. This was a fun episode. We have a bunch of people in the chat hanging out and engaging. That was awesome. Thank you guys for showing up. You can catch us every Wednesday on Twitch and YouTube at 7:30 p.m. And the podcast drops on Thursdays on the podcast app, Spotify, or wherever we get your podcasts. So show us some love, check it out, and check out the Decon podcast. Thanks, guys. Peace. Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Woo!
Everybody, Connor, Trinity,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Connor.
So,
It was fun.
so we do a cool down of pillow talk. Again, we're not forcing you to stay because we just talk about like kind of random stuff. But if you want to hang out and talk about elevators with us, please. And Japan, I went to Japan, so like that's like another whole thing.
Yeah, we
Have you
hang
been
out
to
for another
Japan,
10
Connor?
minutes.
No, it's the top of my bucket list.
What? Oh my gosh, you have to go.
Here's a funny story. So, like my first break in the business was it was a commercial. I was the Marlboro man for Japan Tobacco.
What?
I knew I liked you.
Sick, dude.
I knew I liked you.
This is amazing.
And the thing is back in the late 90s when I was doing these, advertising had so much money to spend.
Hmm.
And the Japanese clients, they would basically like spin a globe and like point down. We're going to go there. So I never went to Japan. I was on billboards, commercials. We shot in South Africa and then different places in Europe.
That's
Love
such a
that.
commercials are a weird thing, man. Because when I went to Paris at the end of the year in December. Julia Roberts was on like a Gucci ad or something, and it's like you would never see Julia Roberts on a billboard somewhere, but because it's in Paris, I guess this is a thing, and
Yeah.
in different
Mm-hmm.
countries you'll have celebrities kind of hawking items.
Well, what's that Bill Murray movie? Sofia Coppola directed, Scarlett Johansson.
Lost in translation.
Lost in translation. That's why
Yeah.
he's there. You know, he's a movie star in America, and he's selling whiskey in Japan,
Yeah.
and never to be seen in the States. But I mean, that's not why. I just happened to get that job,
Yeah.
and yeah, crazy.
Can I talk about like what was mind blowing in Japan? The two things that came to mind. One of them is the place is so clean. When you're in Japan, in Tokyo specifically, because that's where we were,
Yeah.
there's no trash on the streets. But on the other side of this, there's no trash cans there.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through and like I'm having like a drink from 7-Eleven or had a sandwich. I am holding on to my trash for about 40 minutes because I can't find a place to dump this. And I don't want to be that ugly American because we already have like things
Bro,
are
you
rough.
already broke the code. Okay, let me tell you where.
Okay.
Because Japanese culture does not like it when you eat and walk or drink and like that's not a thing. So you already broke the code, man. That's why they sit in their convenience stores and have microwaves and they eat in there. You already look like the American, man. This is like me wearing Abercrombie in Paris. Like they're like, that's the American. Kick her out. She's wearing skinny jeans, you know?
Mark, did you have the 7-Eleven egg salad sandwich?
I did not because there's some
Dude,
okay.
I feel like you would nail that. That's
Cancel Mark. Mark is
Yeah.
wrong for that.
This is a weird thing, and I learned this about myself as I got there. I took a bite out of it, and it was good. I just for cold eggs, I'll eat anything, but cold eggs for me, unless it's hard boiled, it just doesn't like. I don't vibe with it. It's not simpatico with me.
Wow. I'm surprised by that.
You're wrong for that, bro.
I feel like you would crush an egg salad sandwich. That's fine.
I'm not going to Japan now. It's no longer.
You fucked it up.
Wait, I'll bring it back for you, Connor. My favorite snack in Japan, and I know the producer is a big fan of these because he posted it on his story, they have these two little pancakes at 7-Eleven. And in between both pancakes, it has a small layer of maple syrup and margarine. And you can just eat both of them like a little sandwich. Like you just pluck it off and unwrap. You don't have to heat it. They're the most delectable fast track
warm?
treat that I've ever. No, you don't. You can warm it up, but you're not supposed to. It's the perfect snack off the shelf. You have to try it when you go to Japan.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. It's top of my bucket list.
I will say I do feel better knowing that Connor hasn't been to Japan now, so it's not just me anymore. I was the only person on the pod who haven't been there.
We were icing
Now
Victor
I've
out
got
a little
buddy.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't travel a lot.
Going into a public restroom in this place is unheard of because not only do you walk in and it's clean, the toilet seats go up by themselves.
It's weird. This place is haunted.
It's insane. I remember just thinking like I'm on the Enterprise. The future is here in this bathroom because like the toilet has 20 buttons. It plays music, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
That's
it has
incredible.
like watery whooshing sounds, or like you can change it to like jazzy.
That everybody's trying to do their best in town. We're gonna make the best egg salad sandwich. You're gonna have the best omakase. You're gonna have, you're gonna walk across the street at the same time with each other. And I'm fascinated by that strange world that we don't have here.
Yeah, pride in every single type of job, like carrying yourself with that dignity for your work and performing your work to a specific duty. I was absolutely obsessed with Japan. I can't wait to go back. And when you guys both go, we'll have you rejoin the podcast, Connor, and we'll just go over Japan all over again. I do have one more Connor question that also came from Reddit because I have no idea what this means, and they said I should ask this. Ask him about the Blue Enterprise underwear. What does that mean?
I didn't even know what that meant.
So, our underwear was blue, and I was in that a lot. And
That is
Oh.
true.
Yeah.
so I'm half naked a lot on the show, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's some funny stories about that. People also purchase those.
Oh,
totally do that.
pre-worn, like
100%.
from this.
You're like,
Wait, who
You don't
owns
have to
that?
make it weird just to have it. I think would be
Wait,
cool.
Victor, did you buy those? Was it you?
Maybe. I do like blue. It's my perfect shade of blue.
Actually, it's exactly the Dodger blue.
I know. I love it.
That's what Serapsis from Reddit, you little dog. You were just trying to get me to say crazy things.
Enterprise is funny for you guys because you haven't seen it. It's like, I don't know if it's because of the time it was in or what. Like, it just felt like they had to make it like sexier for no reason. So that the decon, they're like rubbing each other with like lube or whatever, like to go back into the ship. There's a lot of underwear stuff. Like, I don't know. They're really pushing on that sexual tension. I feel like you don't see that a whole lot in other Star Treks.
Pilot was the most egregious example of that. And
They hit it hard. Yeah.
yeah, I'll tell you a brief story about that. So we're shooting the pilot. I've got a scene with Anthony playing Mayweather, and we're at the top of a cylinder or something, having a conversation. And in reality, on the other side of the soundstage, it's lit up, and there's a bunch of people around there, and we're looking over. Usually, it's just whatever you're shooting is what's important. But what they were doing was they'd hired 2 adult film actors.
Oh.
Oh.
They were testing out which different gels that they'd purchased from the pleasure chest that were going to work. So Anthony and I went down there and we're checking it out. We're like, this is what a job. And
What a day on set.
the one they selected had sparkles in it, so it reflects off of the light.
Okay.
Now, Jolene and I aren't wearing hardly anything. And imagine this. You've got you, your acting partner, the camera, and then like 35 people behind that camera judging every single thing that you're doing. After every take, they would take a dry towel and rub off
Try you up. Yeah.
gel and get those sparkles off. By the time we were done, it was the most unsexy thing you can imagine. Like
Hated it.
lobster.
It's
How
like
many
being
takes
rubbed
did you guys
raw.
need?
Oh,
Well, they
totally.
did it a lot. Yeah.
It was not sexy at all.
Did they use the glitter the whole for the rest of the seasons? Because I was just watching another one where Porthos gets sick or whatever, and you guys are all doing that too. Decon again, right? Same
No.
deal.
No, they didn't use that again because it was so hard to get off of your skin.
Mhm.
How funny.
Yeah.
Wow, the
Wow.
adventures of being an actor.
Yeah.
You know.
Wacky. Yeah. In the moment, you're like, oh, whatever. This is what you do. Then you think back on it a couple weeks later, you're like, that was
It's
weird.
kind of weird. Yeah.
Well, guys, Pillow Talk coming to an end. Connor, we cannot thank you enough
Yeah.
for coming onto the show. We owe you 1,000 times because this is such a treat. And Victor, fanboying over here the way he is.
Yeah. So cool talking to you, man. Seriously, really glad to have you. This is awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me. I really enjoyed it.
It was so fun because you just had the Paul Giamatti one, and you guys mentioned, you and Dom, how you guys were like nervous to bring him on. And then I was like, literally listening to that, being nervous about bringing you on. And I was like, we are him. We are one and the same. So we appreciate you so much. And shout out to Paul and Dom. And I hope we're all joining you guys at the Decon Chamber podcast for the next episode.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Live long and prosper, my dudes.
All right, Twitch, YouTube. We'll see you guys next
There you
week.
go.
St. Patty's Day drinking show. Let's get
Let's
it.
go.